have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Bati, lekani achoti kala. Bati, lekani achoti kala. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride.
So Aliyah, would you put that in the chat again? And I wanted to start with this practice because it has a kind of a message in it that says, when we come in prayer, we are always answered, but we really have to listen and hear that voice saying, I'm here, I've come into this garden. And then we have to, for a moment, let go of the struggle, let go of our effort, and receive that presence that's going to then accompany us in our practice.
Bati, lekani achoti kala. Lekani achoti kala. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Bati, lekani achoti kala. Bati, lekani achoti kala. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride.
So, welcome, lovers, far and wide. So, this is an invitation to practice, and it feels such an important time to be in practice together. We have fires burning not too far from our house, and there's a war happening, and the Supreme Court has gone bonkers. It seems like this is the time for prayer. This is the time to go deep into the other dimensions that hold up this dimension. And I'm just thinking about how in the Kedusha it says the angels are calling one another. They're singing to each other. And it's said that their song, singing to each other, is what holds this whole universe together. And so I want to become those angels singing to one another, and the energy of our song being the sort of the the glue that holds it all together, and the energy that kind of lifts us up to a perspective we need to have in order to be so part of the give and take of this world. So our first gesture is to respond to the invitation, that there is always an invitation calling us in to to say, don't sit back and be a victim of this world. It's like like everything you bring, every breath you take, and every breath you give, has an effect. And so you have to kind of step up to that. And the way that the Song of Songs talks about this invitation, it says it's a feast. If we will only partake, and it says feast friends, and drink till you are drunk with love. Meaning you want to be able to drink in a way that raises you up into the wider perspective, because when we're kind of stuck in the small perspective, we're no good to anyone, and we don't have access to our compassion, our strength, our resources, and so we want to kind of enter into, they say you can't fix a problem from the place where it
was created.
So there is the expansion of consciousness, which I think is our only hope, really. So this is the feast friends on this life and this opportunity. So the other day, as I was looking at this verse and feeling the invitation, I wrote this poem that really kind of just expands the invitation and gives us the kavanah and intention for our practice. It's called Come to the Feast. Come to the feast. This banquet has been prepared especially for you. Sit and settle down and look around. You will see colors that sparkle, shapes that defy reason. You will hear sounds that lure and enchant you. You will smell fragrances that waft in from world to world, tickling memory, bringing visions. You will taste the sweet and the bitter together. Your tongue will curl around a texture so creamy, a taste so sharp. You will feel sorrow and joy in equal measure. Your heart will break and be made whole. Come to the feast. Feel invited, welcomed, encouraged, tantalized. Are you coming? Yeah. Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim. Shatu v'shikru dodim, Shatu v'shikru dodim, Shatu v'shikru dodim, Shatu v'shikru dodim. Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim, Ichlu reim. Shatu v'shikru dodim, Shatu v'shikru it's so important to feel that invitation, to feel that call, and calling us out of our kind of habits of mind, sort of breaking the spell, and opening up a place inside that is, that is called the appetite of the soul. It's sort of a different place to come from. Because if I just come from my conditioned personality, I'm not going to have much impact on the world. And so the book of Deuteronomy has this verse that talks about the Levite, the one who is singing here, and us, and who doesn't necessarily know where her place is, and so she is, the world is instructed to give her a place, and we are instructed for that inner Levite to find a place in your life, and to open up this appetite of the soul. And I wanted to share with you something from this book, Intimate Conversations with the Divine, by Carolyn Mace. And in one of her prayers, she says to God, "What are you telling me?" And then I knew, you are calling humanity to prayer. It's not just me, and you're not calling us to church, but to prayer. You're calling people to return to their holy roots and their mystical nature. You do not dwell in a church or a synagogue or a temple or a mosque. You are the entire universe, a mystical, holy, organic force of light encompassing all life. Your nature is expressed in the mystical laws. You speak through all the laws of life, consistent, ever-present, ordered, reliable. You are the phoenix that assures us we will always rise from our own ashes. You are the phoenix that assures us we will always rise from our own ashes. That is how you have designed the nature of life, and now you are calling us to pray, to direct the creative power of our souls into those high acts of grace that influence acts of creation. I tell people, Lord, that if energy medicine is cologne, grace is perfume, and that perfume can heal in ways that the ordinary mind cannot comprehend, because the mind is so burdened by reason. It only considers what is humanly possible, but the soul dwells in the impossible and the miraculous. The soul dwells in the impossible and the miraculous. If only people dwelled in their souls, how differently they would envision their lives. I suspect that is why you are calling us all to prayer now, because we must imagine our lives differently, starting today. Not beautiful. So those who are shrooting, you can do it with a D and a G on this chant, and the intention of the chant is to open up the desire of the soul, so that we can live from the soul and not just from a mind that is burdened by reason, so that we can open to not only what is humanly possible, but what is, humanly impossible. But for the soul is accessible. בכל אvat nafsho eyl-HaMakom בכל אvat nafsho בכל אבת נפשו
Bekolava
silence, just feel the pull of the soul, just wanting to expand within you. So the faith that I need is the faith to know that anything I do matters. And maybe the faith to know that everything that I do matters. That, to know that we're always putting out our life as prayer, and there's always a response, and we don't always understand it or its timing, but it's always there, and that takes some faith. And when I don't have that faith, then I don't totally inhabit my life. I don't come to the feast when I don't have the faith that it matters, how I show up. So the prophet Amos has this wonderful line that really, I think, opens up a kind of a faith in the process. And what he says, his prophecy, he says, and they will plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. So imagine the gesture of planting that vineyard, and the very next realization is that from that vineyard you planted, you are drinking the wine thereof. And then it says, and they will make gardens. And today I planted my garden, so this is really very, very prescient for me. And I'm the kind of gardener that has no idea whether anything's going to grow. It's like I wasn't born with that faith. But that's what I need to cultivate in order to plant. So, and they will plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. And so we're doing a little bit of time-lapse photography right now. Because in one breath we are breathing out the planting of those vineyards, the planting of our intention with great faith, and in the in-breath that follows we are drinking the wine, and that's time-lapse photography, right? And then the next breath we are breathing out this kind of making of this beautiful garden of our imagination. We're planting it. And on the very next inhale, we are eating the fruit, smelling the fragrances, opening up to the gifts that come back to us when we, from our giving. So I want to do this to grow our faith in that process of give and take, give and receive, of the flow of life. Because when I believe in the flow of life, then I show up to do my planting, to make those gardens. Even when the air is filled with smoke, I'm still going to show up and make those gardens, right? So I want to chant these words with you, and then do a couple of different breathing practices that just takes the gesture that we're talking about into the breath, so that the wonderful thing about the breath is that it goes with us wherever we are. and so it's always, accessible. And I want to be able to, when I tune into my breath, I want to grow my faith. I want to know that, how the exhale and the inhale are connected. And that everything that I put out comes back. And so there's two different breathing exercises I'll teach you after we do the chant. So we're back to, and this is also a round.
Yeah, buddy.
So, Venatu Cheramim Shatu yaynam Venatu Cheramim Shatu yaynam ganot Ichlu et ve'asu ganot Ichlu et venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam ve'asu ganot Ichlu et ve'asu ganot Ichlu et venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam ve'asu ganot Ichlu et ve'asu ganot Ichlu et venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam venatu Cheramim v'shatu et yaynam ve'asu ganot Ichlu et ve'asu ganot Ichlu et venatu Cheramim v'shatu
yaynam v'natsu karami v'shachtu et yaynam ve'yasu ano v'Ichlu et ve'yasu ganot v'Ichlu et v'nasu karamim v'shachtu et yaynam v'natsu karamim v'shachtu et yaynam v'nasu karamim v'shachtu et
Close your eyes. Bring your attention to the breath. Imagine breathing into the heart. Breathing in. And on the exhale, planting the vineyard. On the inhale, drinking the wine. On the exhale, making a garden. On the inhale, eating the fruit. On the exhale, planting. On the inhale, drinking the wine. On the exhale, planting that garden. And on the inhale, eating its fruits. And on the exhale, planting the vineyard. And on the inhale, drinking the wine. And the exhale, planting the garden. And the inhale, eating that fruit. And on the exhale, planting the vineyard. And the inhale, drinking the wine. On the exhale, planting the garden of your life. And on the inhale, receiving its fruits. On the exhale, planting the vineyard. On the inhale, drinking that wine. Imagine every breath one of planting and receiving. just notice what that feels like. And you can let go of those intentions and just feel the breath as one of like putting out into the world who you are, your truth, your essence, your kindness, and receiving back that fruit. That's the faith. So there's an advanced version of this practice, which is also really wonderful, that says, as I inhale, I am planting the garden inside me. I'm planting a vineyard. And as I exhale, I become that wine. As I inhale, I am planting the garden inside me. And as I exhale, I become that garden. I radiate the beauty of the fruit. On the inhale, I plant that garden inside me. On the exhale, I become that beautiful garden. On the inhale, I plant this vineyard inside. On the exhale, I melt into the sense of being the wine, feeding the whole world with my being. Inhale, planting this beautiful inner garden. And exhale, letting myself flower. And just notice, what does that feel like? Every breath is opening up the inner gardens. Every breath is bringing you to a place of radiance, of generosity. I like both. Mm-hmm. But you might want to practice and see which is the one that works for you. And you will have many opportunities for practice as you go about breathing through your life and knowing yourself in that way. So I have one more practice that I thought would be a great way to conclude our eating practice, the feast of our lives here. And it's a kind of a warning. It's kind of an instruction that says, since we're sitting at this banquet, this feast of our lives, we really need to listen, because there can be kind of an imbalance in what we eat, what we consume, and how we integrate that and how we put it back out. So this instruction from Isaiah.
Good old Isaiah. Yeah.
He says, if you not just listen, but if you really listen to me, then whatever you eat, you're going to eat what's good and in the right measure. And then it says your soul, the soul that we just awakened its appetite there, that soul will delight in richness. And so this it kind of sometimes we can go into a little bit eating frenzy, lose consciousness. So this sort of says, like, awareness as we eat is really important, and that we're, that is the rhythm of the breath comes from this awareness of God's presence. So that listening to God which is, we'll know exactly how long the in-breath and the out-breath need to be, exactly what we need to take in to nourish us and to give us this pleasure, and what we need to then give forth in generosity. And I always feel like there is this cycle of energy, of receptivity of the divine presence that opens up my generosity, and then kind of seeds that abundance that I then receive again, and that cycle can get stuck at different places. So I can't just breathe in, and I can't just breathe out. There has to be this, beautiful rhythm, this interchange with life. And that's what happens at the feast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it feels like we're all in need of some nourishment, some growing of faith, some like entering into the rhythm, and so we want to hear this kind of instruction that says Shim'u, shamoah. Really listen, and listen to that presence who has invited you to the feast, who has set the banquet of life in all its permutations, and it'll slow you down. It'll allow you to savor what is good.
Mm-hmm.
You with me? Yeah.
Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Ve'chuto, ve'chuto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Shim'u, shamoah, aylai. Vekluto. Vekluto.
Come to the feast. The banquet has been prepared especially for you. Sit and settle and look around. You will see colors that sparkle, shapes that defy reason. You will hear sounds that lure and enchant you. You will smell fragrances that waft in from world to world, tickling memory, bringing visions. You will taste the sweet and the bitter together. Your tongue will curl around a texture so creamy, a taste so sharp. You will feel sorrow and joy in equal measure. Your heart will break and be made whole. Come to the feast. Feel invited, welcomed, encouraged, tantalized. I hope you are all tantalized. And this practice of these sacred phrases, that we put them inside ourselves because these are the things we forget. We know and then we forget.
Yeah.
And so by chanting them over and over again, we put them in our bodies. We plant them there, and then they'll grow this kind of awareness that we need, especially in times of crisis. So it's been and it's helpful. It's kind of miraculous to do this together with you all on Zoom. And
what a blessing.
And I feel that sometimes after I'm in a time of practice, that it's good to check in with other people who have been in practice together to see what has touched you, what has opened, and that makes it even more real. So,
If you need to leave, we love you. Bye.
but I just want to say,
But if you stay,
come to the website, look and see what retreats I'm going to be teaching, sign up for something, and also give a little donation, and we will, and I will see you. We will see you next week. But I'm going to stop.